And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second qualifying match of the night. We just wrapped up with Haas versus Rex, and Haas took down Rex 3-2, qualifying for the Asia Regionals. But now we have our second qualifying match, and we are jumping in mid-series into a best of 5. And as you can see here on the screen, we are in a tied-up series 1-1. We're tied up 1-1. And we at least have 2 more games ahead of us. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our red Zerg player from the land of Hong Kong, the Kong from Hong Kong, representing Team Hyper 1. It is GogojOey. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing Mystery Gaming. It is SCV. Here we go. Again, unfortunately, we missed out on Game 1 and Game 2. I don't know what transpired. I do know that they had some longer games, as we wrapped up an entire best of 5 when they just got into 2 games, so they had some longer macro games. Of course, our series was a lot more chaotic, was a lot faster, as we had just nothing but 2 base all-ins, or even 1 base all-ins at times. So, again, we had a very chaotic Haas versus Rex series. But now we're settling into, I imagine, a bit of a more standard series, a bit of a more standard matchup. Now, if you're unfamiliar, GogojOey, he has been the best player in Hong Kong for a very, very long time. For many, many years, it was GogojOey and Beastork as the top 2 in Hong Kong, and they would very often represent their nation, represent their region in these EPT regionals and in these EPT qualifiers. There was even a season where GogojOey got into, I want to say, top 4 or top 3 in all of the Asia region. He even surpassed Rex, which was surprising. Like, Rex for a long time was the dominant Zerg player in the region, and GogojOey did surpass him, but that was like 2 years ago, I think, at this point. Nowadays, GogojOey is a part-time player. Nowadays, GogojOey, he has a full-time job. He's like working in a lab. He's a mad scientist IRL. Did finish his studies, of course, and is now on that grind. And yeah, now he does play StarCraft whenever he has some free time. You know, you're never really gone, you can never really escape us. And yeah, GogojOey, he again plays more for fun nowadays, and he does play he does play in online events every now and then, again, whenever he's free, whenever he's available. Regardless, it is great to see GogojOey making it this far in the event already, and we'll see if he can go even further. Meanwhile, SCV, he's a younger up-and-comer. He's a more modern player, kind of rose through the ranks in the COVID era of StarCraft. So again, a much newer face to the scene compared to GogojOey. And SCV has been doing very well for himself the past couple of years of play. The past couple of years of I want to say the past year, maybe 2 years of StarCraft, SCV has really been able to make a name for himself in the Chinese region. Still in the shadow of many of these other Chinese players. Again, there's just so much Chinese talent in StarCraft. Players like Firefly, Cyan, Jeshi, just to name a handful of Protoss players in the region, and there are so many more. So it's really hard to stand out. We have Rewhites, we have Jadong Oz as well. A lot of Chinese Protoss players. So SCV he's still trying to like stand out from the pack. I would say he's in the middle of the pack right now, but still a good player in his own right. Still a strong player. Maxit, of course, is another name that I should have mentioned. But here we go. We do see SCV mining through these minerals on the left-hand side. This has become a very common expansion pattern here as the first Oracle gets across the map. Again, it was a standard Stargate opener. I almost forgot to mention it because it's been a while since we've embraced this. I mean, I have to break my mind away from the Haas builds and the Haas play that we were seeing earlier. Just a standard Stargate opener into Oracle, into a third base. Now, this is a feature of Amphion. These mineral walls here, because you have to mine through them to gain access to this area of the map, is a free base. There are rocks, there are mineral walls, there is no way for GogojOey to harass a third base, so SCV is able to freely expand and take a third without any issue, and he can freely harass across the map with his Oracles, getting 2 drones already, and it looks like he does get a 3rd drone as well. 3 drone kills, very nice damage dealt here by SCV, and there's just no threat of these Lings ever counterattacking and ever harassing this 3rd. Not anytime soon. So a solid start here from the Protoss. Meanwhile, GogojOey is getting to his lair. Around a 4-minute 50-ish lair timing here from GogojOey. Getting into his Evo chambers, drawing on up, saturating our bases. Behind this is going to be a Forge and a Twilight Council. Looks like a standard transition here from SCV. Working towards a +1 and I imagine Blink. And as we settle into our game, as we're getting into a standard build, a big shout out to see Grail in the chat. Ga, Papi, ga. Thank you, Papi, thank you. Thank you so much. A big shout out to see Grail for gifting a sub in the chat. We do appreciate it here. Gifting a sub to Jimmy Jam Jars. Oh, Jimmy Jams. What is it? What is a Jimmy Jam? Is that like an American thing? Jim. Like, I've heard of Jimmy. Is that like a sausage? Am I crazy? What is a... Oh, it's a music producer. Never mind. I don't know. Never mind. Oh, regardless, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Do appreciate it. Hope that Ome Jimmy is able to enjoy his gifted sub as well. Enjoy the emotes and enjoy the replay packs that we do provide for our subscribers. Thank you so much. As we're settling into our game, again, it looks like we have mined through these minerals here. So GogojOey, he tried to apply a bit of pressure, but the lings were cleaned up, and SCV is able to establish his third without too much issue. Behind this, +1 on Blinker on the horizon, we have a bit of a gateway explosion. It's going to be 5 gateways in the main. 6 gateways in total, so not too many, only 6 gates here in between 3 bases, and we are taking up in towards Colossus production. Now, as SCV is teching and situating and stabilizing himself on 3 bases, GogojOey is going for a different direction. Spire is on the way. We are rushing into mutas, and checking the vision here at SCV, he has not scouted. He doesn't know, and unscouted mutas can be brutal in this matchup. Now, SCV, he's expanding towards his opponent, taking this forward 4th base. A bit of a more exposed base here is what I will say. Has been spotted by GogojOey, he's aware. Likewise, expanding on the right-hand side, taking his own hybrid base. We can see SCV pushing right through the left-hand side here of the map, making use of this choke point, making it so difficult here for the Lynx to engage, as they cannot surround. Clutch Transfuse barely keeping that Spine Crawler alive. The mutas, they have revealed themselves. Oh, but this may be a bit premature. As soon as the mutas reveal themselves, Phoenixes are on the way. Quick reaction out of SCV. Phoenixes, cannons, shield batteries. We are preparing. Mutas are going across the map, but is it too late? Looks like it isn't, as we do catch a couple of workers here at the 3rd. Probes are going down. Oh, we catch a Phoenix. Very nice pickup. Getting a Phoenix, even collapsing on some of these Stalkers. Getting one, getting almost a second. Barely getting a second Stalker. The overcharge is a little bit too much here, and we bleed out some mutas. Expensive losses for GogojOey. At the same time, across the map, SCV still trading with the army, but we have Spine Crawlers in position. Yeah, good transfuse. Clutch transfuse there from GogojOey. He does hold on, does maintain this position. The mutas haven't done too much of themselves though. They got a handful of workers, a handful of units. These mutas, they haven't gotten the damage they were looking for, not yet. We'll see if SCV is able to stabilize here, is able to build up. How many mutas do we have? 22, soon to be 27. At the same time, second Stargate, fleet beacons on the way. This should be for Phoenix production, for Phoenix range. And again, GogojOey just doubling down on mass muta. And we are going to be able to catch almost one of these oracles. We get a Phoenix. Good pickup. Oh, trading a Phoenix for a muta. Stasis Trap's gonna get triggered, but SCV, his economy has been left untouched. Like, he's barely lost any workers, 75 probes up and running. SCV, he's keeping up here in the supply, in the production. Cranking out 2 Colossi at a time, 2 Phoenixes as well. GogojOey trying to break the defenses here. He does open up the wall. Lings are flooding in. New collapse here on these Stalkers. Shield battery's going to get targeted down as well. Good pick up here by the mutas. GogojOey, he's collapsing on this. He's trying to break through, trying to snowball out of control. Does get a lot of these gateway units, a lot of stalkers going down as well. Where are the Phoenixes? Barely any Phoenixes left, and it looks like GogojOey, he has done it. Stalkers are coming in, but it may just be too little too late, as we've already lost so much. Stargate is depowered. We're going for the fight here. Yeah, we're just collapsing on these stalkers. We don't even care. The mutas, they're getting out of control. They're getting out of hand. Again, SCV, he had almost stabilized, but played out a little bit too much. GG gets called. The mass muta gets out of control, and GogojOey takes a lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. Oh, my apologies. I just realized I didn't update the players. There we go. Go. But GogojOey does take a lead here in the series. Again, mutas, they did get a little bit scattered early on. I would say that initially SCV was reacting quite well, but he was bleeding out Phoenixes from time to time, and unfortunately he didn't have much to support his army. He had stalkers, yes, but with the Lings surrounding the stalkers, with the Lings busting into the natural, that was the game-winning move. That was the game-winning move there by GogojOey. If it wasn't for those Lings getting on top of those stalkers, then honestly, SCV would have held onto his natural, and it would have deflected those mutas, and we would have seen a very different game. Very different game there instead. And now we're getting into potentially the final game of the series. Joey needs one more, uno mas, to advance on to qualify for the main event for the regionals. SCV has to fight back here and now to force the ace match. Let's go. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta, we have our red Zerg player from the land of Hong Kong leading the series. He needs one more to win it all. Was able to pop over those mutas in that last game. Can he do it again? It is GogojOey. For Team Hyper 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Mystery Gaming. He has to fight back here and now, otherwise his run doesn't quite end here. There is a lower bracket, but he doesn't want to get knocked down. Not here, not yet. Can he fight back? It is SCV. We'll get on it. Here we go. As we do have SCV settling into his 2-base setup here, going for the gate expand. Meanwhile, GogojOey going for a hatch gas pool, forced into the unnatural natural. So a bit of a more awkward setup here by GogojOey. Bit of a more awkward setup, but we'll see if he can just settle into things. I'm assuming that SCV is going to go for another Stargate opener into a standard setup, but we'll keep an eye on the Protoss. We will keep an eye on him. But now, just going to be, again, settling in. Getting into our tech of choice. Confirming that there is no earlier gases. There's no faster tech or anything like that. So with this probe, going to be able to just ensure his safety here. As we ease our way into side Delta. Again, GogojOey isn't really one to be overly aggressive early on. He might be from Southeast Asia, but he might be from the Asia region, but you know, that's more chaotic nature is more from players like Mio Micah or Ender, for example. That's more what they embrace. As we do have that Stargate. As we mentioned, again, SCV isn't really one to go for Twilight Council opener, so it's going to be another Stargate. This should be for an Oracle-based opener, and this should be leading into a third base behind it. So far, a standard setup here by SCV. Again, Twilight Council openers are not unheard of, but they're a little bit more out of the norm. And it is more of a stylistic choice here. Players like Nightmare, players like Classic, Hero, they're more than willing to embrace Twilight Council-based openers, but SCV, he's not really that kind of player. Not that aggressive. As Adepts, they do threaten that natural base. So far, Lings, they do pop out just in time, and we do shut down one of those Adepts. Big pick off. Oh, that's pretty huge. Doesn't look like a lot, but ideally, you don't want to waste your warp bins. You don't want to make additional Adepts. These Adepts are supposed to keep your third base safe. They're supposed to keep it safe and sound, as we are going for a Twilight Council before the third. And more gateways. This looks like Glaives. This screams Glaive Adepts here. Very committed build here by SCV. Additional gateways on the way. Very committed, no third in sight. Oracle gets across the map. Queens are, for the most part, in position. We do manage to get a couple of drone kills. 2, 3. 3 drones go down. 5 in total. Very nicely done. Oracle gets the hell out of there. Lings are checking for the third base, and as we mentioned, it is Glaive Adepts. Glaives are on the horizon here for SCV. I spoke about how he wasn't really wanting to go for a Twilight Council opener. True, but it was a Twilight Council follow-up. Now, this is not an all-in. We can... oh, God. We can still expand behind this, and there we go. Third base is on the way, but this is still quite committed. So, essentially what's happening here is we are delaying the third base, we're delaying Blink, we're delaying +1, we're delaying a lot of tech in favor of Glaive Adepts. As a reminder, there's no robo. Because there's no robo, there's no warp prism, there's no way to reinforce across the map. Basically, SCV is going to be warping in a big wave of Adepts here at home. He's going to be building up and banking it up here, and then he's going to be moving out across the map with everything he has, and he needs to trade well. Because SCV has delayed so much, these Adepts have to get economic damage done. If they don't deal enough damage, then it's going to trigger a counterattack out of GogojOey, and it's going to be quite a challenge here to hold on to the third. So this is a risky build here out of SCV. Very risky. We'll see if it pays off. Adepts are moving out. They have been spotted. Roaches are on the way. Lair is finishing up. Roach speed should be on the horizon behind this. Lings, oh, they collapse here on some of these transferring workers. We get one, we get two. 2 probes go down. Adepts, they get across the map. Where are the roaches? Oh, boys are under fire here. We go for the queens. First queen goes down. Second queen as well. Roaches are coming out just in time, but the queens are still falling. Yeah, we get 2 queen kills, a couple of drones. Ooh, even more workers caught in the transfer as well. And Roach speed has not started. Stasis trap into the natural. Very nicely done. Catching 3 drones. And SCV, he doesn't lose many Adepts. We'll get the ESL StarCraft here. He lost 6, but he still has another 6 left over. And more on the way. So SCV is keeping the pressure up. And what's important here is that this is keeping GogojOey at home. This is allowing SCV to expand, to get into his third base, and to tech up into Blink and +1 to work towards the next step towards the mid game. Good target firing here. Drones are being focused down. But Epsay shade in towards the natural. They catch more workers. GogojOey, he's bleeding out a lot, and GogojOey is actually falling behind in the economy. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. And Joey, he's down to 53 workers. He might be forced all in. Oh my god, as we're getting even more drone kill. Oh my god! We spoke about how this build was risky from SCV, but it has more than paid for itself. How many drones have gone down? 25 workers in total. That is game-ending damage. And we're not even done. It was 25 drone kills, and we're getting even more damage. As they just keep on shading in, and GogojOey cannot keep up. Even with the stack defense, even with the spine crawlers, it is not enough. 29 drone kills. And these Adepts, they don't matter anymore. They could be thrown away. They could just die here and now, and it doesn't even matter because we have a Stalker army back at home. +1, Blink, Gateway Explosion, charges on the way, robot production for Immortals for Colossus. Here we go. As we are moving out. And again, SCV, he's in the driver's seat right now. As yeah, Stalker's gonna be trading here with the Roaches. We have Adept shading in towards the natural as well. They do shade in, they do get cleaned up. Again, the Adepts they've more than paid for themselves already. No big loss for SCV. Stalker's a trade out with more of these Lings. Behind this, we have the better economy, we have a fourth base. We're going to be recalling back home. Interesting choice. But again, we can see here that SCV, he's on 4 bases. GogojOey just now getting his own 4th up and running. In chat, because Raynor is Zerg. True. It feels bad, man. Really, it's all Raynor's fault. Why is Raynor Zerg? Should be Terran. But yeah, there's quite a number of examples out there of players that have like names associated with one race, but they play another. Like SCV's a Protoss, UED Soldier's a Protoss, Raynor's a Zerg. Shaking my head. I'm sure there are other examples as well. Sure there are others. As we do collapse here on the 5th base, we do force a cancel. SCV gonna be rotating over towards the right hand side, getting on top of the army and shaving off some of these things. Good stasis here from SCV. The Bailings, they do get some decent connections on these Zealots, but there's just an overwhelming wave here of Zealots. The Bailings, no big connections. Very nice trade here from GogojOey. At the same time, though, on the right-hand side, Roaches are falling, but that stasis trap is about to run out. As one runs out, another is activated. Colossi are on the way. That will help here against the Lings. We have Zealots and Stalkers against the Roach Ravager. Stalkers for the Lings. SCV just rounding out his army, collapsing on these Roaches. This time, where are the Banelings? They're not here. Here anymore, as GogojOey is going to be getting supply blocks here. I mean, GogojOey, he's trying to keep up. He's able to get into 1-1. We have +2 upgrades on the way. Trying to max out on Ling Bane, Roach Ravager. Very impressive that he was able to get up to this point. But the quality of the army is still in favor of the Protoss. Yeah, we have 3 Colossi. Can we set up a surround though? You see GogojOey coming in from behind, collapsing on these Colossi. Does attempt to collapse on top of them. Lings and Bailings are going to be annihilated here. The Roach Ravager becoming a little bit more exposed. And SCV, he can keep pushing, getting up to 4 Colossi. Oh my god. And again, the Ling Bane is just going to melt before this. And without Ling Bane, without a buffer force, this Roach Ravager is just so much more vulnerable. As we do collapse here on top of those Bailings. Yeah, forcing GogojOey to collapse on this. Bailings, they do finish. They are done just in time. It looks like 1 Colossus is going to get targeted. The 2nd Colossus as well. We go for the dive. But you could see here that GogojOey spends so much supply to kill 2 Colossi. And we still have 2 left. Behind this, we're getting into Immortal production. We have +3 about to kick in. SCV, he has a better economy. He's on 5 bases compared to the 4 base setup of GogojOey. So again, it's just an uphill battle for the Zerg player. Ever since he depped her ass. Again, from that moment, the Protoss has been in the driver's seat. GogojOey once again trying to set up a surround. Lings collapsing on this stage trap. Big connection on the right. Oh my god. Massive connection here on the Roaches. Not like this. And yeah, we're just cleaning everything up. GogojOey barely has anything left. GG gets called, and SCV we'll tie up the series 2-2. We are going to the ace match. GG. Let's go. We're going all the way to game number 5. Oh, really, the only way this could end. We've been getting a little bit lucky here so far. Every qualifying match we've casted has gone to the ace match. And how will this story end? Winding it back here again. The Glaive Adept follow-up. The Glaive Adept build here from SCV did just far too much damage. Remember, it was 29 drone kills. 29 drones. That was enough to end the game, essentially. Like, that just gave the Protoss such a lead, gave the Protoss so much freedom. And that is why we saw GogojOey just struggling to keep up. He was playing from the backfoot, playing from behind. And was trying to stabilize, but unfortunately was unable to. And with that, we're going to game 5. We're going to game number 5. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our Red Zerg player representing from the land of Hong Kong, representing Team Hyper 1, being forced into this ace match. Can he bounce back? It is GogojOey. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming, tying up the series 2-2, forcing the ace match. He has momentum on his side. Can he go the distance? Can he qualify for the Asia Regionals? It is SCV. Here we go. As GogojOey is going to be going for, interesting, he's going for a 15-15. So a 15 hatchery into, I imagine, a 15 spawning pool. So a very safe build here from GogojOey. Does make sense on Ghost River. For those that are curious, is the shortest rush distance map in the map pool. There it is. Do have that spawning pool on the way. So a very safe build here out of GogojOey. For those that are curious, basically this build is going to delay your gases. Your gas is quite late in comparison, but we have a late gas in favor of a faster natural base on location, not being forced to expand in a more awkward position instead. So because this link speed is going to be delayed, this means that SCV is going to be a little bit more free to harass early on. It means that his window where he can be aggressive and be active with his adepts is a little bit longer. It's a little bit of a larger window that he can make use of. And his third base is going to be a little bit safer as well. So we should be looking towards a bit of a longer game. Based on the opener as well, I would think it would be ill-advised to go into Glaive Adept again, but I mean, it was quite successful in the last game, so SCV, he might be tempted. He might be tempted to embrace the Glaive Adepts again, as they, again, won him the game in Game 4. They crippled GogojOey early on. And speaking of Glaive Adepts, that is a Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener here out of SCV. Bold move, by the way. Bold move going for the Twilight Council opener. Now, this doesn't have to be Glaive Adepts. Oh, no, it is then. We pulled out a gas. It's 2 in gas here in both gas geysers. That screams Glaive Adepts. Now, what kind of variation is it going to be? That is the question. How many gateways is SCV going to be working with? How many gates? So now the Twilight Council is finishing. Gateway is now on the way. Behind this, we do have GogojOey just saturating his bases, getting into his third, spreading his creep. That is going to be the second gateway for now here for SCV. I'm a little bit perplexed because this is a Twilight Council opener and this is for Glaive Adepts, but there's no robo. There is no robo where else there should be. So this looks like a more European variation. I remember seeing, I think it was Strange, the Russian Protoss player, he was doing this. It's going to be 3 gate glaives, and because there's no robo, you can take a third. Yeah, you can take a third base. So this is a macro glaive build, basically. It's a macro variation where you're cutting corners, you're cutting tech, so you can take a faster third base, so you can still have a generally favorable economy here from the side of Protoss. Now, this does mean that you're not as committed, you're not as aggressive, you don't have a fourth gateway. Ooh, but we may not have a fourth gateway. We are mixing in some Dark Templar. Okay, very interesting. Meanwhile, Lings, they do shut down the Stalker. But again, this build in general is a lot more seen in the European region. You'd rarely see this amongst the Koreans. So very interesting to see SCV embrace this. Exciting. Very exciting stuff. So it is going to be a bit of a 1-2 punch. Now again, GogojOey, he's being fed some false information or some conflicting information. Because of this third base, it looks like a more macro-oriented build. He might not be ready for the eventual Glaive Adepts. A lot of Adepts are amassing here. GogojOey, he's just now finishing up his Roach Warren. Queens are pushing forward. Lings are building up. Roaches are now on the way. And is this going to be enough? Is this going to be enough here? As the Adepts are moving out. And now, just like the last game, as I mentioned before, because there's no War Prism, there's no way to reinforce, at least not on the front lines. You have to be careful. Adepts, they are moving out. As the Adepts move out, Lings are moving in. I love this counterattack out of GogojOey. There's only one Adept to defend, and we may even force the army to turn back around. It's too late for that, though. Adepts, they are committed. And they shade in towards the natural base. Lings are across the map, which means they're not home to defend. Lings, they do take down a lot of probes. 6, 7 probes going to be going down. A nice trade for GogojOey. But the Adepts, they're not done. They're shading in between the bases. Ooh, they're going to get 10, 11 drones. Oh, and even though GogojOey, yes, he killed 7 probes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as he's lost even more across the map. Now, thankfully, because he killed 7 workers, he's not too far behind. He's not as far behind as the other way should be. Thankfully. You can see here that he has enough roaches. He is going to be able to build up, and here come the Dark Templar. Where's the detection? No! No spores, no spores, no detection. DTs, they're waddling into the main base, they're waddling into the natural, and this could just be game. It could all end here and now. Detection is on the way. We have an Overseer morphing in, but the Overseer takes so long to build up, and this is game-ending damage. 11, 12, 15 worker kills. We're getting more worker kills here at the third as well. The Invisible Man, it's just becoming too much. We saw Haas take down Rex with a similar playstyle. And SCV, maybe he was a little bit inspired by Haas. As the DTs, they get 22 kills. Remember, it was in Haas versus Rex, Haas killed, was it 29 drones? So pretty comparable. Pretty similar outcome here. As Adepts shade in once again. Oof. And we're going to be able to clean this up, but again, this was just so much done. And now GogojOey is all in. He's down to 26 drones. He has no economy. His economy has been crippled. It's non-existent. Our Zerg player is completely all in. All SCV has to do is survive. Easier said than done. We have 3 shield batteries. 3 shield batteries. We have an overcharge as well. Blink is done. Plenty of Stalkers. And again, Stalkers, they can trade quite nicely here against these Roaches, especially with good blinks. Yeah, overcharge is popped. So GogojOey cannot touch this. He cannot break the army. Triggers in with a handful of Lings. We still have the overcharge, keeping everything alive. And we're running out of steam. We're running out of army. GG gets called. The writing is on the wall. We have nothing left. And SCV will take the series 3-2. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here. Congratulations to SCV for taking the series, for advancing on, for qualifying for the Asia Regionals. Very well done. My condolences to GogojOey. He put up a good fight. It went all the way to the ace match, but alas, he was overwhelmed. He was taken out, and he'll be knocked down to the lower bracket. Now, thankfully, GogojOey still has another chance. He has another opportunity to bounce back. But GG. Congratulations to the SCV. Oh, he will make it through. And do we have any other updates on the brackets? Let's have a look. Let us have a look ourselves here.